Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by NovaCopy. Small business owners, big business owners. If you have a need, NovaCopy has an answer for you. Copiers, wide format printers, tools that enable you to do printing jobs as big as car wraps, signage, even 3D printers and 3D scanners. Trust me, save yourself time and money. Call NovaCopy. If you own a business, there is zero reason for you not to call them, because they will charge you $0 to do a cost analysis of your workflow and offer you solutions. NovaCopy, check them out. Go to novacopy.com, you'll see more about them. All right, want to welcome back in Will, Bobby, Jimmy. Over at the NovaCopy drawing board, we have Chuck Cavaleris, and you'll see next to Chuck, I'm going to run through some stats here, okay? Very quickly, and we're going to rank these. Which three need to be fixed most quickly to help Tennessee turn things around? You see, first downs for Tennessee through 3 games, they've had 94 first and 10 plays. First and 10 plays only. Only 37 have gone for 4 or more yards. And you got to stay on schedule. That's putting Worley in a bad situation right there, so that's huge. The next one is just Hurd and Lane, is who we're looking at here. 42 of their 83 total rushes have gone for 3 yards or less. That's just not good enough. Right next to that, this is an interesting number. This one's not so much a fix, I just wanted to put it in there. Through 3 games, they're averaging 2.9 yards per carry in the first half, 4.6 per carry in the second half. An interesting stat there. All right, overall rushing, 117 attempts, 390 yards. They're still, through 3 games, just averaging 3.3 yards per carry. Not good enough. That would be dead last in the SEC a year ago, would have been dead last in the SEC 2 years ago. Punting game, 22 punts, very good, Chuck.
Thank you.
22 punts on the year, 37.2 average and 36 net average. That's just not good enough. Returns, you've played 3 games, you've only had 2 punt returns on the season, 24 yards total. And then the biggie for the road games, you're now minus 18 in turnovers since 2011 on the road. You want to know why Tennessee struggles on the road? They turn the ball over on the road. All right, 1, 2, 3. Which of those are the ones that have to be fixed quickest for Tennessee to turn things around? Chuck, you've been standing there silently. I'll let you speak and start.
Oh, I think it starts with this rushing number, John. To me, there's no question. As you mentioned, 3.3 yards in average would be the worst in the SEC, and that's got to be historically low for Tennessee. I mean, that's just not going to cut it.
Actually, it was 2.7 when they were last in the SEC about 4 years ago, but yes.
You know, many times we've talked about the first down, though, too. You got to stay on schedule. If you're making 1, 2, and 3 yards on first down, it puts Worley in a bad situation. You're probably going to have to throw the ball. So I think first down yardage is important.
See, I'm with Bobby on that, because on the first downs, and they've been ineffective in many regards. In the first half against Oklahoma, their average third down was they needed 9.4 yards, which means you're going to have to pass, right?
Yeah.
Which means you got an offensive line that's not very good at protection.
And an Oklahoma defensive line that's NFL
It's coming at you, and I think that all goes together. Now, obviously, there's some numbers that correlate with each other there, but I think if they're getting behind on first down like they are so often, I think you're inviting that offensive line to have trouble in pass protection.
Okay, Chuck, why don't you go ahead and just put a check under first downs and a check under the rushing number over there. Will, what do you think?
Well, I think the other thing I would just look at, just in general, is and looking at that and seeing the first half and the second half, is the coaching staff internally looking at, are we making adjustments at halftimes that are causing that? Is that weaker opponent, less legs? Why is that number dramatically different from first to second half? Is that just a fluke, or is there something about what we're deciding we want to do in a pregame plan versus when we're making adjustments to what that other team's doing?
Right.
What is it?
And also, I mean, the thing is about those weaker opponents, you ran better in the second half against Oklahoma, which the reason I was looking at that number is I thought, well, that's going to change against Oklahoma, and it didn't.
So that's saying something. What are we doing? Why are we not, from top down, calling in an adjustment earlier in the game instead of waiting to halftime to do something?
Well, that run by Hurd, the 42-yarder, I hadn't seen Tennessee run that play. They had a guy in motion. It was not a zone read play, and then Hurd comes back this way a little bit. You need to show a little bit more imagination, I think, in the run game.
Yeah.
And that play was an example of it.
Chuck, go ahead and put a check for me under the turnovers. Eventually, to ever get off the schneid and turn this program around, you have to start winning on the road, and you got to cut down the turnovers to do it.
That was the most amazing thing about Tennessee's games yesterday. They lost that battle, and they were still in the game.
Good
if
point.
they had won that, this game is entirely different. So, I mean, that just tells you how much this team, A, has improved, but If you can fix that, almost everything else goes away.
Let's turn around. Chuck, let me get you to play Magneteer over there. The first one. A couple of positive numbers here regarding the defense that I thought were surprising. And now you're throwing in Oklahoma into this mix at this point, all right? So this isn't just you're playing lesser foes. Their third down defense on the year, they only allowed 3 of 12 conversions to Oklahoma. They've only allowed 23% third down conversions on the season. That is a fantastic number, especially when you factor in young defense, on the road, Oklahoma. They're rolling as they start the second half. They had plenty of reasons to cave, and they didn't. That to me stands out.
What do you think that number has been the last 4 years?
Oh, gosh.
Probably been in the
Yeah.
40s.
Well, I would love to go back and look at the Sinceri number.
Yeah.
To compare. And let me throw one out. The other one is the run defense. 48 of 100 rushes against Tennessee this year have gone for 2 yards or less. 27 for 0 yards or negative yardage. We talked about that last week. Tennessee's defensive line clogging the middle pretty well.
Yeah.
And
Here's-
John, I would attribute some of this too to the improved play of A.J. Johnson. I think
Yeah.
him being on the field and playing like an NFL linebacker has also helped some other people make some plays.
Final word, Will.
Let me tell you what you don't see. Why this defense is better more than anything else. 2 years, same system. You don't see guys come up and a group moves and everybody's looking like they're running a fire drill around not knowing what to do. They've settled these guys down. They've given them assessment and what they can learn and are safe to go play and not have to do too much thinking, and they're executing and playing really well right now.
And for a change, the back four matches what the front seven's doing. That's changed from the Sinceri years high. When we come back, we're going to get nitpicky. Where is the necessary roughness? What do we need to pick on? Refs? Replay officials? Come on back on the Sports Source.
Follow the Sports Source online at sportsource.tv and on Twitter at SportsSourceTV.